Okay, we've just built the diff. We've got our spool built, we've got our transmission or lay shaft spur carrier built. Now we're going to be moving on to installing those components with the belts and yeah, putting the diffs and stuff in. So this is step 7 on page 5. We've actually already got the components out. They were in one of the earlier bags. What we do need to get out is a few screws, and we need some 109s, which are 8. So 1, 2, 3. We need 8 total. Okay, so we're going to need our belts. And our upper bulkheads. Okay, so these guys are, again, so you don't get confused, nicely labelled. So we've got a right rear or a rear left hand side, we've got a front left and a front right. These are the screws that we're going to be using. So first things first, we're just going to put the transmission in. So this is these holders that we were just temporarily putting in place earlier. Now you've got to pay particular attention to the instructions on this one, because they do tell you to put that lay shaft in a particular direction. Okay, just going to get some bearings out for that little guy. Should be these two. It's not the smallest ones and not the biggest ones. They're the in-between size. Yeah, they're a 5 by 9 by 3 is what these little ones are. So we can put one in our transmission holder there, and then what we're going to do is the side with the plastic is what is going to go to the motor side. So the little plastic sort of 3-tier looking thing, it goes to the motor side. But before you do that, you need to make sure that you have your belts, and I can tell you that the rear belt goes on the motor side and the front belt goes on the battery side. Now we can give those a bit of a nip up. Now we're going to put in, we might do the front spool first. So we've actually got a little bit of flashing on this. Just going to take that off. And so with these eccentrics, we can either mount high or we can mount low. By the kit, I believe that low is how they're set. So that means that the part with the arrow and the thicker section, so you can see that we've got a thin section at the bottom, thick at the top. So we're going to have thick facing up. So thick facing up. Drop that down in there. And so those of you that are new to building these types of models, what these eccentrics are is they allow us to control the tension that's actually on the belt by turning them one direction or the other. We can either tighten or loosen the belt. So I'm just going to start in the middle position for now. So that's a rear. So we want that's the front left. So again, those letters are going to face inward. And once we get the top deck on, we'll have a better idea on the actual belt tension There's no point trying to adjust it at this point in time because it will change once we put the top deck on. So we'll just start in the middle position for now. And our rear diff. Again, the low position, so the arrow on the thicker part facing up. And again, we'll just start just in the central position on the belt tension. So obviously important to make sure that both sides are in the same orientation with the arrows. Okay, so we've got just a little bit more flashing just on these eccentrics that needs to come off. It's actually stopping it nicely sliding in. So okay, so both the thick part with the arrow facing up. Another tip is you can actually put a little bit of white paint or whatever colour paint, nail polish, just put a little dab on there so you can see it easier. Okay, so we're going to put the upper mounts on now. So we've got a rear left. These wings will face out because that's where the upper camber link will mount to. So we've got the left hand one over there. Okay, that finishes off step 7.